Today I show off a fantastic 4-watch collection for under $1,000. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Boy, have I got a great show for you today. Yes, I've teamed up with the mighty JOMASHOP again to give you an awesome 4-watch collection under $1,000. Yeah, I did one of these episodes last year, and I'm gonna take the same formula as I did back then. I want a beta watch, an everyday watch, a sports watch, and finally, a little bonus watch. Now, it's a huge thank you to JOMASHOP who have sent me my 4 choices, and I don't need to give them back. But the questions today are, what do you think of my 4 chosen watches? Are they better than the last 4? And what does my wife think of these watches? Are you 4-watch collection ready? Let's go! Now, you know it and I know it, there is no better beta brand than the mighty Casio. And I chose a reference I don't own yet. And this, my friends, is the CA506B01AVT. A beautiful calculator watch. Now, no, it's not as good as my CA53W, that's for sure. But this one still embodies retro Casio for me. It definitely has more of an early 90s look than a late 80s one, and that's probably the reason why I haven't bought it before, but I had never seen the 506 in this black reference before. It's a resin made case with a stainless steel bracelet, but it is sometimes hard with Casio to find bracelets that match the case. Now, this puppy is going to last you about 4 to 5 years before the battery runs out. You've got your dual time, 1/100th of a second stopwatch, alarm, and obviously its main feature, a calculator. And you will be surprised how easy it is to use those little buttons. And if you buy one of these, you're gonna have to use them. You don't get a backlight, plus the water resistance is always a bit rubbish. But I wanted a more retro cool beater as opposed to a hard mud resistant one. And for $57, I think it's a great start. Next up is the everyday watch, and I wanted to put most of the money into this one because I'd be wearing it the most. And this next watch is a diver, and it's one I've admired for a long time. It does have a few quirks to it, and in my opinion was well overpriced when it first was released. But I am talking about the Bulova, yeah? The Bulova mill ships. The phenomenal W-2181 prototype that have been brought to life by Bulova. This watch was designed in the 50s and was part of a contract Bulova was trying to get with the US Navy. Now, unfortunately for them, they didn't win the contract, pushed the design papers in the bin, and this watch was forgotten about until one huge Bulova collector had one of these prototypes from the 50s, and then Bulova thought, we should reissue this. And they have done, and you've got to say, this is an awesome looking watch. It's right up my alley. Proper military looking, built for purpose diver. Very reminiscent to the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, but it was designed around the same sort of time, so it's not a surprise. But I absolutely love this thing. Despite its quirks, which are the self-locking bezel. Yeah, this doesn't have any clicks to it. You push the bezel in, turn it, and then release, and that locks. Very cool and innovative considering this is a watch made exactly to the specifications of that contracted prototype. Nothing's been changed. The really weird quirk and what puts off a lot of people is the lug width. 16 millimeters, and it makes the watch look huge. I applaud Bulova for making a watch that was completely like the prototype in the 50s, but it is a stretch with that lug width, isn't it? Beautifully bead blasted stainless steel, and look at this huge bubble of a sapphire crystal. This is the hardest watch to shoot without getting reflection from the lights. So to be fair, I just gave up at the end. It's a 41mm case, 50 lug to lug, 14.5mm thick including that bubble. Great dimensions until you come to that lug width. I like the colour of this NATO style strap. It's like a slate blue. Awesome case back showing the old vintage dive helmet. That's really cool. And the case back is made of 2 parts. Like the original, it was designed that way that the deeper the watch went underwater, the compression of those 2 parts made the watch even more watertight. I love the colour of the indices. I love those cathedral-y style hands, like the 50 fathoms. We have a little moisture detector below the hand stack. This actually works, although you wouldn't want it to work. It changes colour if moisture gets in the watch. Very important for divers of the time, not for us, but looks cool. The other thing that did put me off was the movement, the Miyota 82S0, and when this watch first came out, it was around £800 to £900 new. Now though, this watch has come down about £300 to £400, and I think it is a pretty damn good proposition. You are getting Blanc Bain Fathoms looks from a very historic brand, and the watch is designed on a Bulova prototype. On the JOMASHOP website, this is $519, and I gotta say now in 2024, that is not a bad price for a very good looking Bulova. The third watch is my diver. Well, I've already got a diver, but this one is an ISO certified diver. And it's a Citizen. Yeah, I know. I'm embracing Citizen again. One of my goals for 2024. And for me, this is probably one of the best Citizen looking divers you can get. The PROMASTER Automatic. Hasn't been out for too long, certainly reminiscent of the 62 mass from Seiko. Absolutely love the dial of this thing. It is a chunky boy. We got a 60-click bidirectional bezel with an aluminium insert. Definitely the best Citizen I've twisted so far. No backplay whatsoever. I only wish the bezel grip was brushed. It's polished, which is a bit annoying, but the finishing on this watch is very good. Beautiful satin finish to the sides of the case. Love the big signed crown. The textured dial is superb. We do have a Mercedes handset, which I could sort of let fly. The bracelet is pretty darn good as well. The only annoying thing about it are those big solid end links. That male link protruding right off the case. It's going to make the watch feel bigger than it is. We've got solid links, not a lot of rattle to this at all. It's quite a big clasp, but we do have a huge diver's extension, fold over security, good honest milled clasp. The loom on this watch is incredible, very strong, very powerful, definitely better than Bullova's, that's for sure. It's 50 lug to lug, it's 14 millimeters thick, and as the mineral glass is recessed into the bezel,
the thickness is all case, baby.
It's a big watch, but it's a proper watch. The best Citizen diver I've handled so far. Again, we've got a Miyota 8000 series inside this watch. Now with those 8000s, the automatic rotor only goes in one direction, and that's why sometimes you can feel it moving around on your wrist. But this is a big chunky case, and it's very hard to hear it, let alone feel it. For a certified dive watch, for only $254.
ISO 6425 certified.
This is going to appeal to a lot of people.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Okay, we've come to my final watch of the four.
The bonus one.
And you know what? I've made it a point to get another Citizen. This time a reissue of one of their icons.
Can you guess what it is?
This is a recreation of those old 8110 bullhead chronographs. Now a lot of people have been put off by the size of these watches. The case size is only 38 millimeters, which isn't a bad size, but the lug to lug is only 41. For us small wristers, it's brilliant. But for anyone over a 7-inch wrist, may look a bit too small, but it's personal preference, isn't it? This is a quartz watch, what you'd call a reverse panda, a 3-eyed one, and it's a 12-hour chronograph. Now I do really like the dial. The only things I don't really like are obviously the date window. It's in a really weird place. Also the quartz WR50 doesn't really need to be there. That would have made the dial much cleaner. I am a sucker for a sloping chapter ring, and that makes the dial only 25 millimeters in diameter, which with this black bezel does make the watch look smaller than it is. The bracelet is a carbon copy of a £30 Casio. We've got folded links, very easy to adjust this and find the right size. Definitely nothing special though. The crown is also a little bit tiny, not for my little fingers though. It's definitely a watch you can scratch and itch when it comes to those bullheads. I doubt I'll ever own one of those vintage automatic ones, and for $159 with a bit of Citizen history, think this is a bargain. So there we go, my 4 watch collection under $1,000. In actual fact, they all came to $989, which in English poundage works out at about £784.85.
Don't forget the import tax, all right?
But I'm really chuffed with this selection. I've managed to bond with a couple more citizens. I've got myself a historic Bulova that's new for me in 2024. And who doesn't like another Casio? The wife! Here it is, my wife's views on all 4 of these beautiful watches, starting with the Casio. This is horrible. Horrible strap, hard to read, looks like a bad toy. And now the Bulova. This is all right. It looks a little bit like a submarine. I'm getting submarine vibes. The PROMASTER diver. No, this is all wrong. Way too big, horrible strap, just ugly. And finally to the Bulova Bullhead. Bullhead, you say? More like bullshit. Horrible strap, and it looks more like a teddy bear than a bull. Right, okay. Moving on. If you think you can beat me on a better 4 watch collection from JOMASHOP under $1,000, tell me in the comments below. You can't have any less than 4, and you can't have any more than 4. Thanks again to JOMASHOP for sending these in, and would you believe it? Not a Seiko in sight.
Must admit, I am getting withdrawal symptoms.
Thanks for watching till the end. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector channel, click there and join. You want some merch? Go on, get lower in the description. It's right there. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this one? This is fantastic. Go on, click this one. This is lovely. One of my best works. Go on, click it. Click it.